Hi everybody. I wanted to take today to talk about 3 very important things when you are building your business and putting your brand out there. Now these 3 things are pretty simple, and when you hear them, you're probably going to think, I know this. This makes sense. When you put it together, it's when, the story starts to unfold. So I wanted to take a second and actually put together this video so that you guys too can understand where it comes from on my end when I think about bigger and broader marketing campaigns and how to make sure that the beginning is set up for success at the end. So I'm going to jump right in. The first thing that I want to say is determine your message. You already have your brand figured out. You know what you want to do. You know what you want to say. Determine the message. So if you want people to purchase your product, visit your website, download information, whatever it is, determine the message that you want to put out there, and that will help your customers, your audience, whoever's on the other side of your media and marketing. It's going to help them determine what it is that you're trying to say to them. Now, determining the message should be something that you build up front in the beginning as you're starting to work on your brand, because you know exactly what it is that you're putting out. So when you determine the message, you already have that. It's already in there. It's already built in. So that should be something that is easy to work on. The next piece, number 2, is determine your audience. Now, we would love it if we could reach everybody, sell everything to everyone, talk to every customer worldwide, but it's just not possible. So what you want to do is determine your audience. It helps in the beginning to kind of have an idea of who you want to reach. So that can be women 25 to 54 who live in Colorado who are interested in shopping at Kroger's. If there are Kroger's in Colorado, I don't know, just guessing. Kroger's is a grocery store, but just saying that you should have an idea of the type of person that you want to speak to. And the reason you should have an idea of that is because your message that you've determined in the beginning is not going to reach everybody, but on the other side who you want your customer or your audience to be. So if you can define that, then it'll make it a little bit easier for you to send that, for your message to hit that person, and make it easier for that message to, sink in to that audience. So determine the message and then define your audience. Number 3, once you have your message and you know who you're speaking to, you define your brand voice. Now I say this because some people might put these in different steps or a different order, but I say you determine the brand voice because your brand voice is understood by your audience. So once you know who you want to speak to, you start to learn what language they speak in. You understand how to communicate with them. You understand whether they're playful, funny. If your audience is teenagers, they'll communicate in different ways than someone who is a little bit older, who may not use Instagram as much, who may be more apt to using Facebook. And the language and the way in which those platforms are used are very different. So you have to understand who your audience is, the message that you're saying, and that'll help you determine your brand voice. Now, what I like to do when determining a brand voice for different clients that I've worked on is to create a persona. Now, with a persona, you can kind of think of a character. Oftentimes, I like to use my favorite person, Taraji P. Henson, as one of the characters for myself. When I think about some of the brand images that I like to put out, I know that she's bold, she's straightforward, she's direct, she's sincere. She's a lot of things that I feel like embody me. So when I think about a brand that I'm putting out, I like to think about what type of character is this brand, because then it helps me to determine what type of voice that person speaks in. Are they playful, joyous, funny? Whatever adjectives you want to use to describe your brand helps you to write content for social media, write language for your website, write language for any media that you want to put out there. But it helps to know who your audience is so that you can more effectively communicate with them through your brand voice and help them understand you through the messages that you're putting out. Because if you don't have a proper brand voice that fits your audience, there's going to be a disconnect, and they're not going to consume the media that you're putting out there, and therefore you're not going to be able to see results at the end. So 3 things again: determine the message, define your audience, and last but not least, determine your brand voice. Very important. So those 3 things in under 5 minutes should be tips to help you get started with your business. This is Christine from the Famus Agency. Click the website below and we can continue to help you figure out how to get your brand off the ground. Talk to you next time.